evening, you're watching The Buck Stops Here and I'm Barkha Dutt. On the program this evening, well, after the 4-0 win for the BJP and, well, the stalemate in Delhi, it's still a defeat for the Congress. The grand old party has gone into a huddle. The Congress, calling it introspection, is blaming the price rise and factionalism for its rout in the assembly elections. Number of Congress leaders are now saying Rahul Gandhi should be declared the prime ministerial candidate well ahead of 2014. But can Rahul Gandhi really make the Congress rise from the ashes like a phoenix? On the program today, our Congress leaders even talking about the elephant in the room. Is Rahul Gandhi part of the Congress's problem or part of the solution? That's the big debate on the Buck Stops Here this evening. The post-mortem continues and the toughest questions are for the Congress party. The Congress may argue that you cannot read a national inference from the results of the assembly elections. But after the Aam Aadmi Party's phenomenal performance in Delhi and of course the BJP's win in the other 3 states of the political heartland, the question before the Congress, the elephant in the room that not many Congress leaders want to talk about, is whether Rahul Gandhi can lead the party into 2014. Is he not part of the solution anymore, but part of the problem? And why has he failed to capture the imagination of the young voter especially? After all, he is the young face of the Congress campaign, and yet the youngest party, the Aam Aadmi Party, in more ways than one, by the way, also had the youngest average age of candidates contesting in the field. Does Rahul Gandhi have an idiom that can still speak to the people of India and to the Congress's own voters? Let's introduce our panel this evening. From the Congress, senior leader Manishankar Iyer, somebody who argued in the newspapers this morning that it was a good thing that the Congress has lost because it's time for the Congress to sit in the opposition and get Rahul Gandhi to basically revamp and rehaul the party. Is he up to the job? Well, that's what we'll be talking about on the program today. Also joining us, Chandan Mitra, senior leader of the BJP. From the Biju Janata Dal, we're joined by Jay Panda. From Bangalore today, Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw. Kiran, of course, apart from being one of our best-known industrialists, has had her own experiment with trying to bring in new energy into politics because they have, of course, backed honest and good candidates with their Bangalore Political Action Committee. We're also joined on the program today by Lord Meghnad Desai. He's one of our best-known commentators. And with me in the studio, fresh from victory and from really the party that is in many ways the showstopper of this election narrative, Atishi Marlena of the Aam Aadmi Party. Manishankar Iyer, let me start with you. You set the cat among the pigeons this morning by saying losing is not a bad thing. It's a good thing that the Congress has lost because this is an opportunity for the Congress to lose its power brokers, to lose the coteries that have been running the party. The one thing that seems slightly specious in your otherwise interesting argument is that you blame almost everybody whom you don't name, but you exempt the Gandhi family and you exempt Rahul Gandhi from this responsibility. Is Rahul Gandhi part of the problem or part of the solution, Mani?
Far from exempting him from it, I'm saying it's his primary responsibility to do it. And when I say it's his primary responsibility, it's because it's a responsibility he's taken onto his own shoulders. He's actually done it in the Youth Congress and the Student Congress. And on the day he became Vice President in Jaipur, he announced his agenda as being that of thoroughly revamping and reorganizing our party. And in interaction with him subsequently, I have heard him talk about how the party organization as it is today had done a splendid job in the 20th century of winning independence and making us the natural party of governance, but that you can't have a Ford T running on an express highway. The 21st century is different to the 20th, and so we need to retool and refit the Congress party for its 21st century tasks. And the first of these 21st century tasks is to get the third tier of government in the panchayats and the nagarpalikas functioning. And for that to be done, it's from there that the Congress party should grow. That out of the 32 lakh elected representatives, we should use at least 10 lakh who are Congress people as the base of the party and give them an effective voice by actually electing our leadership and then ensuring that candidates are announced 6 months in advance for the Lok Sabha, 3 months for the state assemblies, and this will make ours a party fit for the 21st century, in line with what Rajiv Gandhi pointed out 30 years ago. But the Gandhis are the solution. They're not the problem.
But, you know, performances don't bear that out, because after all, in the end, if you're in politics, you can't quite be contemptuous of the electoral process. And in fact, this is what you, Manishankar Iyer, used to tell Arvind Kejriwal before he embraced electoral politics. So what seems slightly strange to me at the moment is that Rahul Gandhi and Arvind Kejriwal seem to have swapped places. You have Arvind in the hurly-burly of politics, and you have Rahul Gandhi bang in the middle of politics, acting like he's somehow above it all. Acting like the perennial outsider while he's the ultimate insider.
I'm sorry. He was very active in Karnataka. We won. He was very active in Uttarakhand. We won. He was very active in Himachal. We won. And he was very active in UP, and we lost. Winning and losing are part of electoral politics. They're not organizational politics. And when he has to be busy with election campaigning, he does it. But you're not busy with election campaigning all the time. There are other times when he can devote attention to the party. And my argument was that it's because we've been distracted by governance every time that the program that has set up by Rajiv Gandhi in the 1980s has not been brought to fruition. And that therefore, I didn't say that I would like us to lose. That title of "It's Good to Lose" was given by the Indian Express staff. I'd called it Rahul Gandhi's golden opportunity. But I do believe that if we lose, as it seems likely we will at the national level, that's not something to shed tears over. It should be converted into a great opportunity to fit our party for the tasks ahead.
Okay, Chandan Mitra, here's the statistic, and we'll take it back to Manishankar Iyer. Since 2009, Rahul Gandhi and the Congress has actually lost 17 out of 29, if I'm not wrong, union territory and assembly elections that have taken place since then. But Chandan Mitra, where I do agree with Manishankar Iyer is that there are no political obituaries that can be written in India. You know, the fact of the matter is, and the BJP knows this better than anybody else, you've been out of power for a long time. You don't know right now, there's no guarantees that you will be in power in 2014. So political obituaries, and you know this as a senior journalist also, are a dangerous business. But do you accept Mani's argument that this is an opportunity for Rahul Gandhi? This is not a verdict on Rahul Gandhi's non-effect, as I call it, while we debate the Modi effect. This is an opportunity for Rahul Gandhi. Or do you believe, as several Congress leaders themselves have been, in a sense, commiserating, that the Congress has a leadership crisis?
Well, my reaction to this is that I do hope that Mr. Rahul Gandhi will continue to be at the helm of affairs, to keep campaigning, to take charge of various elections, because that is almost a guarantee for the Congress party to lose. So that is a welcome prospect for us.
Those are strong words. Those are strong words. You're saying, just like people say that Manmohan Singh is the best gift that Narendra Modi could have got, you're saying Rahul Gandhi is the best gift also that the BJP could get.
Yeah, you see that we know that each time Narendra Modi addresses a public rally, the BJP gains, say, 10,000 votes. Each time Rahul Gandhi addresses the rally, the Congress loses 20,000 votes.
How have you computed this? How have you computed this?
This is the jokes that are going around. The jokes that are going around, and it is very obvious the kind of reactions we get on the social media, on television commentators, other commentators. They also say that. So I'm not saying that this is a kind of serious arithmetical calculation that has been done, but it is a fact that where Rahul Gandhi's kind of conversion rate, where he addresses meetings and the conversion rate of the constituencies covered, you have seen post-election, many such calculations have been made, and it is very obvious. So basically the point I'm saying is the Congress's business, whom they want to have and whether he'll succeed or fail. We obviously hope he fails. And so far, there is every reason for us to be convinced that Mr. Rahul Gandhi is a political failure, and that's a good thing as far as BJP is concerned.
Kiran Mazumdar-Shaw, before I go to Jay Panda, is there a lesson, and I ask you this especially because you've been involved in this very interesting BPAC sort of experiment. You're actually saying, here we are and we're going to endorse good, clean candidates. And in Delhi, we've seen this phenomenally interesting you know, Delhi's embrace of Aam Aadmi politics, and in some ways what the Arvind Kejriwal's party represents is exactly what you have attempted in Bangalore, a kind of newness, a kind of freshness, a kind of rejuvenation of a jaded political culture. And that's the way I would put it. Kiran, Rahul Gandhi could have captured that space. He was the Gen Next leader with fresh ideas, with his laptop walas, with lots of young academics, helping him from all the Ivy League universities of America. How did he so badly fail to get onto the bus?
Well, you know, Barkha, first and foremost, I want to start by saying, you know, 20th century politics has to make way for 21st century politics, which is a very, very different agenda altogether.
Yeah.
And we are seeing today that, you know, 21st century politics is no longer about keeping people, you know, in the dark. It's no longer about giving people freebies. It's about, you know, engagement with the public. It's about social media. It's about much greater, much greater information sharing with the public.
Yeah.
So I think today the voter is far more informed than he or she was in the 20th century. And I think the Aam Aadmi Party has reached out to them much more effectively than other parties. Now I think Mr. Modi and BJP have also started doing a very effective job of reaching out to the voter. And I think the Congress party is just beginning to understand that they have to change the way they are reaching out to the electorate.
Yes.
And I think that's where Mr. Rahul Gandhi is trying to change the way the Congress party is functioning.
Kiran, do you see him?
It's a bit too late in the day.
Yeah.
It's a bit too late in the day to try and suddenly do all of that, because I think they will take time to build up this new model of reaching out to the people, which the other parties have done much more effectively.
I just want to
And I think that's what the whole game of politics is going to be.
I'm sorry.
And of course, I think today you're really talking about clean politics, transparent politics, and accountability in politics. That is what is going to count.
I just want to take that to Manishankar Iyer briefly, and then I'll come to you, Jay, right away. And the question is this, Mani, you say in your piece in Indian Express that it's time for the Congress to be a 21st century party. How do you lead a 21st century party when you do not believe in communication? I think that's the point that Kiran has made. Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, Manmohan Singh, they don't believe in talking. They don't believe in talking even in Parliament. Forget the media, forget the hope of any journalist ever landing an interview with these three people. They don't believe in talking in Parliament.
I'm afraid a municipal election in Delhi doesn't amount to a paradigm shift. If we didn't know how to communicate, will you please explain to me how just 6 months ago, in the very state where Kiran lives, the Congress had a huge victory. We had victories in Uttarakhand, we had them in Himachal Pradesh. And is she suggesting that the 21st century hasn't come to these places? We also won the elections in 2004. We won them again in 2009. These are glib technological answers. I only hope Kiran will extend her support to a very honest, straightforward, good candidate like myself. But she won't. She has never done so. She's never done so. She seems to think that somehow the Aam Aadmi Party, because they won 25 seats here, are the epitome of everything that's clean in the country, and merely because I'm a congressman, by definition I'm dirty. This is an elitist, technological view of our politics. The 1 billion people in India are poor. To try to help them is not freebies, and I don't think that just because the Sensex goes up, poverty goes down.
Okay.
Proof of the matter is that at 9% growth, we've had only 0.7% poverty alleviation.
Okay, I've got Kiran's got a hand up, so Jay's going to excuse me for just allowing her one chance to rebut Manishankar Iyer. Kiran, quickly, and then Jay. Yeah.
I just want to remind Mr. Manishankar Iyer that Karnataka was won by Congress again because the incumbent party at the time, which was BJP, did not, deliver clean politics.
Yes.
There was a lot of corruption issues at stake. And that is why Congress won. Again, I go back to
no, not that. It was
transparent politics and
sorry.
Chandan, you found yourself agreeing that the BJP had corruption issues?
Mr. Yediyurappa said
No. I'm saying that was not correct. I'm saying the BJP scored a self-goal, Mr. Yediyurappa left, and therefore the BJP lost. And we will just wait to see how the roles are reversed in the Lok Sabha elections.
Okay, now that's an interesting formulation because Yediyurappa was perceived to have corruption issues. You're actually saying, Chandan Mitra, that it was a mistake to let him go. Kiran is arguing the opposite. Aren't you saying that, Chandan?
Congress is hardly a party to talk about corruption.
Okay, that's a different...
that was a factor. The Congress would never won in any election in this country.
Jay Panda, may I bring you in before I go to the others? Are national parties missing the big picture? Because while the BJP has every reason to gloat even about what's clearly an anti-Congress sentiment in this country right now and is building up, I think the BJP has reason to worry about Arvind Kejriwal, and not because necessarily Arvind Kejriwal is going to do spectacularly well in the Lok Sabha elections, but because of what he represents. And to me, what he represents is an impatience with traditional politics.
Well, at the beginning of the show, Barkha, you mentioned that the Congress party is doing a post-mortem, and I think that's sad that it needed a post-mortem because the writing has been on the wall for many years now, for several years.
Yeah.
And I would like to say that it is not just for the Congress party, it is for all established parties, because there is a change taking place. The ground is shifting in the manner that politics is done. It can no longer be business as usual. Now, what has happened today in Delhi may be an urban phenomenon, and for now it is limited to Delhi, but certainly it will creep outwards and it will put pressure on parties that resist change. You know, it could take longer to get to rural India and to other parts of India, but it will have an effect. And I would like to point out, you keep asking about Mr. Rahul Gandhi's position. Now, he's been in a position for 10 years where he could have brought in lots of changes.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's been attributed to his youth, but Mr. Kejriwal is about the same age as him. And also remember that 15 years or so ago, Naveen Patnaik was just a few years older than this when he founded the Biju Janata Dal. And when you say, and that also came in on the basis of a fresh new politics where you cleaned up, you got clean candidates, you took action against corrupt politicians. So when you say that don't write anybody off, please remember that only if the new incumbents don't perform will there be scope for old established parties to make comebacks. If the new incumbents do perform, as you can see in places like Odisha and other places, even 15 years down the road, they continue to stick on and do well.
I think that's important, and it's important that you're acknowledging that all the established parties need to take a lesson from what's happened in Delhi. Meghnad Desai, you know, Aam Aadmi Party, and we'll hear from Atishi in a moment, actually finds itself quite offended at being described as a party of the middle class or the upper middle class, because what's really interesting is, and to me this is what is the lesson of this election, is that Mr. Kejriwal's party has been able to transcend conventional identity politics. It's been able to grab both the bastis and the posh neighborhoods. That's what's really interesting. I think many of the BJP's conventional upper income voters have gone to the Aam Aadmi Party. I think many of the Congress's lower income groups have gone to the Aam Aadmi Party. 9 of the reserved constituencies of the city have gone to the Aam Aadmi Party. It's done spectacularly well in neighborhoods that were dominated by government employees. So we have to really break down the data to understand what's happening, Meghnad. When Rahul Gandhi gets up and says, we need to learn a lesson from the Aam Aadmi Party, and Arvind Kejriwal follows it up by telling me in an interview, we don't need a certificate of character from Rahul Gandhi, of all people. What do you think is happening to the power dynamics? What does Rahul Gandhi represent to you today, Meghnad? An opportunity or a failure?
Well, first of all, let me say there's a lot of lazy sociology about why Aam Aadmi Party succeeded.
Yeah.
I mean, what it is that if you have a lot of people on the ground knocking on doors, doing local work, contacting voters, being there all the time, that makes a lot of impact. I've seen this in the revival of the Labour Party in Britain. We were practically wiped out, but we recovered by doing those sorts of things. Now, in a sense, Rahul Gandhi, my problem with Congress is that Congress is over-centralized, and all power is personal at the top. Now, you cannot cure the problem of over-personalization, over-centralization by expecting one of the two people in power to suddenly democratize the party. You know, every other party in India, at least BJP and the CP and so on, are at least multiple sources of power in them. Whereas in Congress, all power is in the family.
Yeah.
And therefore the family cannot give up power and the family cannot democratize. So, you know, it's not a matter of whether Rahul Gandhi is talented or not talented, but the question is Rahul Gandhi as a hope of democratizing the party is a contradiction, is a palpable contradiction. And therefore I think what we will have, you know, Rahul Gandhi suddenly said, oh, I like app, you know, it's like having a new app, and he's got an app for his little, you know, iPad, and he's going to try the app. So to see that it doesn't work like that. It takes a lot of hard work to do what the Aam Aadmi Party did, and not by one person. It's not Kejriwal alone.
Yeah.
You need thousands of people to help you, who are willing to help you without the temptation of power. People join Congress only to get power. They do not join Congress to serve the people.
And
if Congress was to lose in 2014, it will break up. It will break up and it will disintegrate.
Let's park that thought, because it's argued that the Congress needs the Gandhis to be the glue that holds the party together. And before I take that to Mani, I want to hear from Atishi of the Aam Aadmi Party. Atishi, when you break down the data, the average age of Aam Aadmi Party candidates was between 30 to 35 years, making your party the youngest in more ways than one. The newest entrant and also the youngest candidates. What's really interesting is that a number of people I know who voted for the Aam Aadmi Party didn't even necessarily know the name of their candidate. So it wasn't that they were voting on a set of local issues, or they were voting for the person. They were reacting to something. What I want to ask you as a young person is, what made you, someone like you who's not a traditional politician, choose Aam Aadmi Party and not a Rahul Gandhi or not a Narendra Modi?
Actually, I think that question of whether this is a failure of Rahul Gandhi or not a failure of Rahul Gandhi is not framed appropriately, because I think it's not just about one individual. I think the question is about the entire political system. And Rahul Gandhi at the helm, Rahul Gandhi or the entire Gandhi family at the helm of a traditional party like the Congress represents a certain political system. A political system that is controlled by the elite, a political system which fights elections with a lot of money, a political system where, and this is not just in India, let me tell you, I think across the world democracies face this problem, that where do you get the money to fight elections? Big businesses, big corporations give parties money to fight elections.
But are you saying leadership is irrelevant? Because when I take your point about the larger systemic differences that your party has positioned itself to embrace, but leadership and politics is often about the intangible. If the Aam Aadmi Party was led by somebody else, person X than Arvind Kejriwal, you may or may not have had a different outcome. You do not know. So leadership is never irrelevant, because politics, after all, is about connect.
Yeah, but I don't think leadership is as central as it's often made out to be. I think what really has made Aam Aadmi Party strike a chord with the people is not the fact that, is not merely the leadership. It is the fact that the Aam Aadmi Party for the first time has brought the issues of the common people in the center stage. When otherwise elections were fought, people know that no one is serious about a manifesto. People know that once these few days of the elections are gone, no one is going to come back and look at us again. Here was a time when elections were actually fought on the issues of the Aam Aadmi, issues that affect people, people like corruption, like water, like electricity, like schools, like housing. I don't remember an election last time where people were actually talking about these issues. And I think that is what has struck a chord with the people.
So to you, the Rahul Modi positioning of the media narrative is an irrelevant one?
Absolutely. I think the time is going to tell us exactly that. That is the reason why, even in states where the BJP has succeeded, people are now talking about the Aam Aadmi Party. There are people on the street who are saying that we are waiting for the Aam Aadmi Party to come to our state.
I'll tell you, what you say is, it's not that I disagree with what you say, but here's a slight sort of addition to what you've said, and I want to take it to Mani Shankar Iyer and Chandan Mitra and the others on the panel, especially the politicians, so to Jay as well. And Mani, my question to you is this, that leadership is not the whole story, but it's part of the story. And where leadership becomes relevant is actually sometimes to galvanize the party cadre, to galvanize the party volunteers, to galvanize the workforce, as it were, the worker bees of the party. Now, what's very interesting is that Sharad Pawar says yesterday that the weak and indecisive leadership of the UPA has led to what he calls the pseudo-activists of the Aam Aadmi Party. My question to you is, do you think he meant Manmohan Singh or do you think he meant Rahul Gandhi?
Well, you know, Sharad Pawar held up Indira Gandhi as his icon. But who was the guy who revolted against the icon? It was Sharad Pawar. He reacted adversely to decisive leadership. Now, I think there is a huge misunderstanding here. The issue is not leadership. The issue is, do we link to the people or not? Yeah. Now, his lordship informed me in his view from Westminster about what we should be doing. Well, he obviously didn't hear what I had to say about founding our party on Panchayati Raj institutions and the 10 lakh Congress people who are there. We've accepted that analysis and we've actually found a solution. And the biggest revolution in India is not the Sensex going up. The revolution is the empowerment of the poor people of India.
In that
and this ludicrous idea that freebies is all that there is. We are concerned with the empowerment of the people and therefore the empowerment of the Congress workers. And if Rahul succeeds in doing what he has said he wants to do, then you'll find that all these arguments will become irrelevant. I welcome the arrival of the Aam Aadmi Party on the scene, but I'm not mesmerized by them. They have a long way to go. They had the opportunity of showing they could do something in Delhi, and they've run away from that opportunity. The first challenge they faced, and they're going in the opposite direction.
What would you have them do? Make a government with the BJP?
No,
what would you have them do?
I was very impressed with them. I was very impressed with them on Sunday. I'm much less impressed with them today.
No, but what would you have them do? Form a government with the BJP? When you're saying they're running away, what do you expect them to do?
Well, what I expect them to do is to do exactly what Narasimha Rao did. He ran a minority government. There are many, many instances in Indian political history of people running minority governments.
Okay, let's come back to that.
If he is given the opportunity of doing things that don't require a legislative majority, like, you know, providing free water to everybody and cutting electricity bills, well, why doesn't he do it?
Okay,
and he wants to pass the Jan Lokpal bill in Ram Leela grounds. He doesn't need a majority in the House to be able to undertake some kind of an andolan over there. Okay. So, I mean, you know, okay, let's congratulate them on having won the election. But let's move on to the next thing of being able to show that they can actually make a difference after they've got elected.